Months of paid vacation? I'll take it.
This happened in Germany, so the laws are different to other countries, especially to the USA. I was working for a family-owned business, about 40 employees. A couple years ago, my time there wasn't the best because I had huge problems with my boss's younger brother. He was on early pension and officially just working on a small part-time contract while in reality working full-time with getting most of his salary out of pocket. That I was hired meant for him that he just worked about half the hours he worked before, and having a huge pay cut because of me pissed him off, as you can imagine. He talked bad about me behind my back all the time and tried to get me fired. Dealing with him was a pain in the ass, but I didn't had to deal with him too often. My coworkers were nice and the pay was good, so I didn't care about finding another job. Despite my relationship with my boss and his wife got worse over time too. My boss even came with me to 2 deliveries to costumers because his brother probably told him I would waste time during the deliveries. At one day I had to do a delivery with my boss's wife's car because the company car I normally use was at the inspection at that day, and the timing couldn't have been worse. I scratched the fender of her car on a wall when I tried to get out of the parking spot. The scratch were barely noticeable, but I immediately reported it to one of my coworkers so no one can say that I tried to put it under the rug. I did the delivery, and when I came back my boss's wife already waited for me. She went completely crazy, screamed at me for ruining her car without inspecting the damage before, and said that she will take the money for the repair from my paycheck. I told her that I won't pay for anything because the insurance will pay for it anyway, and that's what let her snap, and she slapped me in the face. I immediately turned around, grabbed my stuff, clocked out, and went to the doctor to get a sick note because of mental stress, which I threw into the company's mailbox in the evening. 2 days later I got a termination letter in the mail and had to laugh while reading just the first sentence. We are terminating your work contract immediately, or if this isn't applicable, within the legal 30 days. To people who aren't familiar with German workers' laws, it's illegal to terminate a contract immediately and within the legal period of time in the same termination letter. You can do one or another, but not both at the same time. So I went to the government office to apply for unemployment and hired a lawyer to sue my boss for illegal termination. Over 2.5 months went by until I got a court date, and my boss was really pissed when the judge explained to him that the termination was illegal and that he had to pay me for the last 2.5 months. But the illegal termination wasn't the only mistake he made. The judge gave me 2 options. I can accept an immediate termination on that day and leave without compensation, or I can have a 2-month salary compensation, but I have to work another month for the company. My boss laughed and said that I'm too scared to go back to work and that it makes him happy that I leave the court unemployed. He didn't look that happy anymore when I asked him, why should I be scared? Do you want to beat me like your wife did? Quote. So I took option B and went to work the next morning. My boss's brother already waited for me to hand me the termination letter and made comments about how difficult the next 30 days would be for me. I checked the termination letter, and after I've seen that everything was right, I just said that I'm not feeling well. Turned around and went to my doctor to get another 30-day sick note because of burnout. So at the end I had a 3.5 months vacation with full pay, 2-month salary compensation, and he had to pay for my lawyer too because he lost at court.
I could have sued my boss's wife for the slap too, but that would have been too much stress for maybe a couple €100. Nice work, mate. Employers like to forget that their employees are human just like they are. It takes balls to stand up to them, but you've got balls of granite and you showed them who's boss. Good lad, smiley face.
Employee protection is so much better in Germany. When I was in university, I lost my help desk job, since I reported a serious security issue to my boss and not to security. I was just on my third time limited contract. Fourth one will be unlimited. I had about 5 months left on my 6-month contract, so they decided to just send me home. Freistellung. Since I was still a teenager, I was pissed at first, until they told me I would get my full payment for the next 5 months, but that I could not work with them any longer. Back then this was almost $10. I felt like I won the lottery. After the 5 month, I had to take a job at Manpower, and I was getting right back into the same hotline seat for the same wage. For me, I knew they had to pay at least 50% on top, since Manpower also wanted their share.
Good on you, mate.
Top it off with, does her car insurance company know that she is ordering an uninsured driver using a personal car for company business? And don't German doctors have a responsibility to report abuse to the police? Not to mention, like you said, does the gov know the brother is being paid under the table? I have questions.
And on top, you could have gone to the police for assault.
Lol, boss took the L. The losing side should always pay for the expenses of the other party, but US is so fucked up that it doesn't happen, and it's used to intimidate the people. For maybe a couple €100. A couple of cents doesn't sound worth it at all. 100 equals 100. 100th equals Hunderstel. Loved the story. Maybe it's my car being worth about as much as your average garbage bag, but I wouldn't have been upset about that. Hell, a kid nailed the same car in the parking lot in Disneyland once. Told the mom if my car didn't notably look any worse, we could pretend nothing happened. As an American, this is delicious. Thanks for sharing. Totally shoulda included your boss's wife in the legal proceedings. Think of how much more you would have screwed them over if she was also charged with assault or similar. This is great. You should also post it on our anti-work. How does self-defense work there, since she assaulted you first? Why did you not report the assault? Digga, du hattest du all in jedem Fall belangen sollen für die Ohrfeige, den Schlag. You're the people's champ for this, hands clapping, hands clapping, hands clapping, hands clapping. How do you just go to the doctor and demand a month off, lol? Living in the US. This reads like some work of fiction off of that really happened. Going to a doctor and getting a work note like that, lol man, what a concept. Nice. I'd move to Germany, but my profession is not on the list of jobs that qualify for immigration. Nice writing exercise. Some things just do not add up, unfortunately. It is possible to terminate a contract of employment immediately, and the German word is Hilfsweise, per the usual deadline as a fallback. Additionally, at the first level of German law court, the Arbeitsgericht, every party has to pay their own legal fees, regardless of who wins the case. This differs from a regular civil case, but ensures that a low-paid worker is not afraid of having to pay the costs of a big employer with a flashy law firm. You always sue for re-employment. A judge will never give you two options to choose from. He will make a judgment. The re-employment usually is not possible due to major differences and therefore lack of trust, so most of the time, like 90% plus, there will be a payout of 3, not 2 months worth of pay, which is the regular deadline for terminating a contract of employment. Also, the majority of legal disputes regarding emoluments simply do not end up as a court case. They get settled beforehand. All in all, Your story is highly unlikely and probably bullshit or your wet dream. Edit to add. There is no way that the court will decide within the claimed timespan. This takes much longer, and Op basically claims that the judge told him to choose between having his case dismissed and win the case. Additionally, the claim of having to work there again for 1 month is bullshit. If the judge rules for re-employment, Op would have been obliged to work the whole 3 months. Another edit. As I got the dates wrong. Changed 2.5 inches to 2.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.